I want to ask you something and I want you to really sit with it. Can you actually picture yourself without pain? Not just hope for it, not just wish for it, but you can actually close your eyes and see it, feel it. A version of your life where pain is not the central actor of your life. If you pause on this question and there was a moment of blackness or something that felt like resistance, you are not alone. And today I want to talk about why that happens. Because I think it's one of the most underappreciated obstacles in chronic pain recovery, that it's often something we just don't address. So when we live with a chronic pain for long enough, something happens that nobody warns us about. Pain stops being something that's, happening to you. It starts becoming part of who you are. It's become part of your personality, and you cannot imagine your life without it. It shapes how you introduce yourselves. It shapes what you say yes to and what you say no to. It shapes the stories you tell about your life, the explanation you give for why things are the way they are, why you can do certain things, why your life looks the way it does. Pain becomes the lens through which you see everything. And, that's been so true for me as well. And that's why I say this with complete compassion, because I have lived through this. After years of chronic pain, following my spinal fusion, pain wasn't just something I had. It was something I was, organized around my whole life. My decisions, my sense of what's possible for me was built around managing my pain. And this makes complete sense. When something is present every single day, when it affects every decision, when it limits your world in a real and concrete way, of course it becomes central to your identity. Of course it starts to feel like you, right? We can't separate ourselves from it. But here's the thing about identity. It is very resistant to change. Even when the change is something that we desperately want and we wish for it. So when you imagine something vividly, really picture it, feel it, put yourself in it, your brain activates many of the same neural pathways as when you actually experience it. This is why athletes use visualization, why therapists use guided imagery, why the brain can be, trained through mental rehearsal just through physical practice. But if you cannot imagine being without pain, if the image is blurry or blank or provokes anxiety rather than hope, your brain has very little new material to work with. It keeps returning to what it knows, to the neural pathways that are well known and worn out and deeply carved. So this is not a mindset failure. This is really neuroplasticity, and the way we use it really, really matters. So where do we start when that happens? We start very, very small. We don't try to imagine a fully healed, pain-free version of your life, all at once. Instead, we ask, what is one small thing I used to do before pain that I would love to do again? And then we begin gently, slowly, and we build our image on that. We also name the identity shift explicitly. I am someone who is in the process of healing. I am more than my pain. I am learning to experience my body differently. And these are not affirmation. They're new neural pathways being formed through repetition. And then we get curious about the resistance. When we image a pain-free life and that provokes anxiety or those disbelief, we don't fight that. We get curious about it. What does the fear tell us? What does it feel like it needs? because underneath that resistance is often something important. It's either grief or exhaustion or a part of us that has been disappointed way too many times. And it's just trying to protect us from, from that disappointment happening again. And that part really, really deserves compassion and not criticism. It has been through a lot. So let me know if this video was helpful, if you want me to do a follow-up or dive in any of the specific practice I've mentioned. I do have a visualization exercise. If you want to get a copy of it, reply below, and I'm happy to share.